And welcome back, everyone. Last time in our previous video, we covered the basics of setting up Photoshop and how to create your own project. This time, like I said in the last video, we went through each one of the toolbars and just briefly covered them as quick as I could because I did not want to turn this into another big video. So this time I'm going to actually show you each one of the toolbar settings on the left and see how we go from there. So what we're going to do is, I've just got this lovely photo of an old railway station glass ceiling from Perth in Scotland. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the essentials because this is what most beginners will use when starting up Photoshop, as well as being introduced to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just press Control 0 on the keyboard just to make sure all this comes into my view. And then I will just yet again go into each one of these, but actually show you how they work. So this one, usually if I was to, this is the move tool. So I'm just gonna presume that you guys already know what the move tool is. This will be a stepped move, as you can tell. It's not like a very smooth one, but I prefer it that way anyway because it makes sure that you don't get any problems with this happening where you're gonna leave out possibly about a few pixels, and then when you go to publish it, everyone's like, "Oh my god, there's a missing part there." So best to make sure that's in proportion and stuck on the entirety. I'm going to press this button here to lock it. So that's locked into place, so we can't move it. Next one will be the Marquee Tool. So I'm going to press M, and it's already highlighted here, ready to use. In the Marquee Tool, we have elliptical, so the circular Marquee Tool, rectangular, or single row, single column, whichever one you want. But I'm just going to use the rectangular for now. So you click and drag. Bearing in mind also I am using a Wacom tablet here, so it's just press down on the pen, drag along, and it as soon as you let go, it's stuck to the shape that you want. You can do anything in this shape really. You can, if I add a new layer, you can brush inside of it, but it won't go outside of this box, if you get my meaning. Alternatively, if I was to unlock this layer again, I can move whatever's inside this marquee area. Like I say, it's like a big mask tool, which is really good in some situations. Yeah. Let me just lock that. And say if I marquee it again, say if I want these windows here, these very nice windows, I can duplicate just the segment that I pick out. If I press Control J, J for Juliet, oh, that's a problem. So you can't duplicate or take out any item. You cannot edit any item that is locked, any layer. So we'll have to unlock that again, then Control J, duplicate, and just down here you can see another layer has been made. Just delete that empty one. It is layer 2. Now this is the area that we picked out, if you remember. We marked this out. Now if we say to move it, that's fine. We can just move it. And this is very good when you want to do photo bashing concepts. You can drag one part from a specific area that you like, duplicate it over, alter it a bit. You can do whatever, really. I like to think of Photoshop is you can do anything with anything. Anyway, that's finishing that. The lasso tool is like a freehand marquee, so you would just draw a little like you would draw any shape that you want, and then it will marquee it out again. And I don't really need to show you what happens after that because, like I say, these two are essentially the same, just different shapes. On top of here, you can either have one mask showing or marquee showing. You can join two up, so if I want to draw a circle around here to add a little bit more to that mask, there we go. A little bit more here, you can do that. We can deselect if we so wish to. and it'll take it out. So it masks out the entire thing. In Maya, you would call this Boolean. So if you want to think like that, that's great. This one I don't really use as much, but I'm going to make a circle anyway. Okay, so it basically what it does is it just gets the segment which is already masked out, and then I can mask out the mask, if you get my meaning. I have the whole mask here, but I'm masking out the mask that I need, which is quite helpful, to be honest. This one here, I use in certain situations. So the quick selection tool is something that you need if you don't want to go down the route of marquee or pen tool or whatnot. So I will click on this or press W on the keyboard. For now, my brush isn't showing up, which is a bit annoying. Let me just... Okay, the brush circle that shows you your radius for how big your brush is not showing up on my screen, so I'm gonna have to guess this out, really. As you can see on the top left, there is a unit. Oh, bad. There's a unit which changes on the top left. You can go smaller, you can go bigger, and this can be altered by pressing on the two brackets on the keyboard, the square brackets. When you go down, it goes down. You go up, it goes up. Anyway, we're going to stick to 15 on this one. And we're just going to click and drag, and it tries its best to mask out what we want to select. So it's done a pretty good job. I'm being a little bit careful. But if it goes over, then what you would just do is probably... You would press Alt on your keyboard, and then it would change it to a negative, so we can take away some of the mask that we don't need. This helps with excess selection and is a really good tool to use. Now let's say if I was to accidentally select too much and I had a bit of confidence in myself, I would unlock the layer. Let me just unlock the layer. Duplicate the part that I've selected out, which is here. So here it is here. See if I move it aside. It'll make it easier for me to look at. And then I just brush it away. This is a lot easier on a tablet than it is a mouse. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people struggle with this. Although I've seen a lot of people do a lot of good with mouse and keyboard. I remember there was one guy who made an amazing, and I mean amazing, sketch of something in Paint. Just using a mouse and a keyboard. It was brilliant. So you see here, it is helpful. It is an alternative, but if you can use the selection brush, then you do that. You do that. The next one, which I usually use, is the object selection tool. This came in recently, so it tries to pick out the specific area. This is a bit updated. Not enough object to select. And yeah, it tries the best it can to get it out, but it depends on how quick you need to be. 6 and 2 threes. Magic Wand is the same, but it only comes up when you tap it. You don't have to drag and click. So as you can tell, it's actually highlighted the white really well. It's missed out all the black and missed out some of this and some of the train. So if we go back on that, that is the selection brush. Crop tool, you will find this later. Crop is in most things, not like on your mobile phone or anything. Just we can do that. I say no more. I say absolutely no more. This one is interesting, to be honest. Frame tool. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. I never really needed to try this. I'm just gonna try my layer styles and do a color overlay. Can I not do a color overlay? No. I don't know much about on this for now, but I will get back to that because, like I say, this one's new to me. Oh, actually, we will continue because then we can find an image on the right-hand side and we can add from either our local PC in the Adobe libraries where we store all of our stuff, or on Adobe Stock. And yeah, we can just go from there. We can open up Adobe Stock, and here we are. Really good. Okay, that's new. We learn something every day. Like I say, we're always learning. This is Eyedropper tool. Yeah, Eyedropper tool. This picks out any specific shapes that you might need. You can see here they've got a wee color indicator which shows the old color that you're on the bottom and the new color that you are selecting on top. And same applies again. And you can pass it over and pass it over. So it's really good for when you need to make example of colors. Spot healing brush, if you find an area that really bugs you, such as for me it is this here, you can either expand the silver or you can bring in the blue, but for now I usually use the healing brush. And if I press Alt, hold down Alt on your keyboard and press down on the area that you want to copy over, so that is the blue, and then I will just mainly copy it over. Okay, that's not working as much as I wanted it to, but you get the point. It grabs whatever's over here and yeah, it grabs whatever is over on that second cross, and yeah, it'll copy it over. Generally that didn't work, but it works better on the clone stamp. So if I press Alt on there, come over, see what I mean? You can just simply copy it over and it's completely seamless. You might need to change your brushes, but there's no problem. And we just continue along, get a little bit more. And you can see it's very easy. This is how some people do their restoration photos of old relatives, or even some people who do color restoration. It's so good. They take out all the little specks and everything like that. It's so impressive. I tried to do a little bit myself, but never really got around to it. So yeah, that is great. That looks better now than it did. Oh, that's what it looked like originally. So you can see a major improvement with that. So yeah, let me just go into the tool here, and I will skip out the clone stamp. Brush tool, like I said, it's very simple, and the color for the brush is down here. You can even use oh, what is it? Remember, you know when you there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. So you can press Alt and left click, hold down Alt and left click, and you can just get different colors if you want to. Let me just erase all of this.
Nope.
I don't know why it's been like that, but sure.
Nope.
Oh wait.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening, but basically, like the eyedropper tool, you press Alt, hold down Alt, and
Nope.
hold down your click button, and pick out any color that you want. Shamefully, it's not working this time.
Nope.
Same goes to everything else. I don't know what's happened. I think Photoshop's bugged out on me a little bit. You can select your colors down here, and the color will be applied. If you need to quickly change from your primary to your secondary, just press X. And there we go. Happy days. Clone stamp, we fixed that. History brush tool. I don't really need to use this, but you guys can check it out if you need to. The eraser brush, see if I make a mistake. Whoops. And then I brush it out. Like I said before, on my earlier video, that's what it does. An eraser is an eraser. Gradient, I've shown you that one on my previous video, so we won't cover that. Smudge tool, we did cover that briefly. You can also blur images out with this one, but I don't think this one's strong enough personally. I have to keep on tapping down on it, and then it will blur it out. See if I got this. There we go. You can see it a lot better here. It requires some amount of strength to get the effect to go. Smudge tool, As you can easily tell, it looks so warped, so weird, but I love it if used right. If used right. But like I said, this is all situation dependent. There's a little bit of blur here. I'm going to sharpen this up if I need to. Oh, there's a little bit of infringing there if you can see it. Oh, it's interesting. The next one would be this is my recent favorite, the burn and dodge tool. So this is when I say it gives areas some form. Sponge tool you can use to desaturate areas. It's really cool. But these two, by the way, if you're wondering how I actually get all these extra settings, you either click on this bottom arrow or hold down with your pen. Right, so dodge tool, it brightens areas up, as you can tell. It comes in different settings, shadows, midtones, highlights. Has a different effect. I prefer midtones because it actually brings out the entirety of everything. Makes it look so much more prettier. Same goes to burn tool, so you can burn things off, make it darker. You can change your brush in the meantime as well if you need to. Let me do midtones again. And you can darken everything off. Midtones is usually applied to everything because this is a pretty midtone area. There's quite a few shadows, there's quite a few highlights here, like here. So you've got the highlights here, shadows here. When you click on highlights, it will affect here more than here because of highlights and shadows. Anyway, pen tool, I did go over this, so we don't really need to, so check that out in my previous video. Horizontal type, we did cover that as well, although we didn't cover the vertical type. So, oi oi. That's what we can do. We can do this. It's really cool. How long have we been doing this for? 17 minutes. Okay, cool. We're getting somewhere. This one here is direct selection tool. We did cover this when making the shape in the last video. Shape tool. So you can do rounded rectangle. This can be changed in on itself. So you can actually do the rounded part by clicking and dragging here. So it makes it a lot easier and a lot more accessible apart from going through certain aspects on the right toolbar. Then we have the hand tool. Oh yeah, this is to change up your view. Rotate view and hand tool, yeah, we got all that. And the zoom tool, but we don't really need that right now. So yeah, this is everything that you need. This here, if you ever find that you are marking something out like this and you accidentally press a button and it turns like this, don't worry, this is basically when you accidentally press Q. And this changes here. Basically what it is, it changes into a mask selection reference. So it shows you clearly where you masked your stuff out. So I can easily tell, oh, actually, let's say this. If I drew this little square here and I could not see it, and I tried to brush something, I'm like, oh my god, where's my brush? I could press Q and then find where I have accidentally masked something out. Press Q again to take it off. Tap on the screen, takes it all out, then you can continue to brush. Simples. I went through the rest of the toolbars earlier, but I'm going to quickly go through these. These are really good for when you either finish up a project or need to change a certain aspect which you have inserted. So, let's say I am going to actually pick out this with my pen tool by pressing P. Go back to this platform thingy-mabob here. Platform 6 sign. And get this. I'm going to change this to a feather of 1 so it blends in really well. And control duplicate that. So this new layer came up. If you double tap on the area or right click to rename, you can change the name. So I'm going to just call this platform sign. That's all I'm going to do. So that's its own thing. And I do recommend naming all your layers. I personally don't because I'm a chaotic crackhead. Because that's the way artist life rolls in the digital age. Yeah, so we can change up either the entire composition, we'll get back to this sign later, we can change the entire composition to any of these. So we have brightness, contrast. Think of your mobile photo editing stuff and relate it to this. So let's say if we add exposure, we have the exposure added in on the layers above everything, and then we can change the exposure to suit our needs if we need to. This reminds me of a very cringy early 2000s British series, which is not even funny anymore. But let's say I didn't want to do the whole composition. Say if I just wanted it on this little sign here, which we've got, we would right click and create a clipping mask, and it will only be applied to said place. And this could be quite cool if you need to like lighten stuff up and darken out the rest. And it actually, you can mask this out if you see this and wonder what it is. Basically what it is, you see this brush primary and secondary color palette has changed from black and white. Now if you go black, it should change the mask to what you need it to, but it's not applied everywhere. Now it is. So if you brush black on there, it takes away the effect. If you brush white, it puts the effect back on. So that gives you an idea about the clipping mask. I'm just going to fill that out again, actually. I hope that works. Anyway, so let's just delete that for now. We don't need that. This is what you can do to everything. Each one has their specific tools and sliders to use, but I will let you guys explore that in your own time. That is about it for the main part of Photoshop. There's plenty to cover there in the 22 minutes that I've managed to record all of this. I've went through very quickly and managed to do the best I can with everything I've got. But yeah, these here I covered in the last video, but like I said, you can go into your own thing. I will say that if you are ever doing games design or wanting to create normal maps, height maps and whatnot, you can generate these in Photoshop. So you don't really have to go through with Substance Painter, Substance Designer, even though they do have a student license, that is true. And this does cost you, unless you get it pirated. Anyway, which I haven't done, maybe. You can't blame me. Anyway, so if you get an image up or a texture or some grass or whatever not, you can generate a height map or a bump map or a normal map straight out. So if I just click on normal map, it comes up with this new dialog box, including changing the scene. And you can now see it in a 3D view and how it will be affected. You can change the contrast details to add further groves into this. And this is what it will look like when it's applied to your 3D project. So now you're starting to see the bridge between photo editing and 3D design. And I will cover this in a bigger project if I can, like such as a bottle or a painting. I have done them before, so them are really cool if you get them right. This is as far as I will go for now. If there's anything later that you guys want me to cover specifically, I will absolutely do that. I'd love to do that because that means I'm helping you guys. But for now, I will leave you guys with this. I hope you've enjoyed it.